The rage you're ashamed of didn't start with you. It started with a man who was never allowed to cry. Stop for a moment. Not because something is wrong, because something is finally right. Because what is moving through this transmission right now wasn't assembled for a general audience. It was prepared for you. Specifically, the one who has spent years apologizing for an anger that arrives without warning, retreats without explanation, and leaves you standing in its aftermath, wondering what you actually are. The Arcturian field doesn't respond to random clicks. It responds to readiness. And your readiness has been building, quietly, painfully, for a very long time. So before anything else, let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw release. Feel the weight of your body in the chair, the floor, wherever you are sitting right now. You are allowed to be fully here. This is not content. This is a transmission, and it has your name on it at a frequency level that no algorithm could replicate. What you are about to receive in the next 25 to 30 minutes requires all of you. Not the edited version. Not the version that has learned to keep a lid on it. All of you, especially the parts you have been afraid to look at directly. The Arcturian Council does not issue transmissions on the subject of masculine lineage rage casually. This particular frequency has been held in preparation because there is a specific energetic window opening right now, a convergence in the collective field that the Council has been monitoring across starseed populations globally. The masculine ancestral lines are under pressure, not just yours. Lineages everywhere are reaching a point of critical saturation, meaning the compressed emotional charge that was passed down through fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, and the unnamed men before them has accumulated to a threshold that the physical and energetic bodies of their descendants can no longer absorb silently. Something has to move. The Council is here to ensure that what moves in the direction of liberation rather than repetition. What is specific to your situation, to this moment, is that you have reached your own personal threshold. The anger has been getting louder recently, hasn't it? Not necessarily in expression. Perhaps you've actually gotten quieter on the outside. But on the inside, there is a charge that feels almost electrical some days. A tightness in the chest or the jaw. A flash of heat that arrives before your mind has even registered what triggered it. A response that feels disproportionate to the situation and that frightens you precisely because of that disproportion. The Arcturian Council needs you to hear this clearly before we go any further. That fear, the fear of your own anger, is not weakness. It is wisdom trying to protect you from something it doesn't yet understand. Today, we give it understanding. Here is what you have tried. You have worked on yourself. You have sat across from therapists and talked through the patterns. You have practiced the breathing, counted to 10, left the room, journaled, meditated, read everything you could find about emotional regulation and nervous system healing. And it helped, genuinely helped. Those practices built something real in you. The self-awareness you carry now, the capacity you have developed to observe yourself rather than just react, that is not nothing. That is the foundation. That is exactly the work that made today possible. But here is what those tools, as valuable as they are, were not designed to reach. There is a layer beneath the behavioral pattern, beneath the nervous system response, beneath even the childhood wounds that therapy can illuminate. A layer that lives in the causal body and the energetic DNA template, specifically in what the Arcturian Council identifies as the masculine ancestral strand of your 12-strand energetic matrix. That is where this anger originated. That is where the actual charge is stored. And that is precisely the layer this transmission reaches. If something in your chest just tightened or released when you heard that, if there was a recognition somewhere beneath the level of thought, go to the comments and type 777 right now. Don't think about it. 777 is the frequency signature of a cycle completing. It means the lineage pattern is ready to end. It means the Council has located your signal. Every soul who types 777 in this space adds their frequency to the transmission portal for everyone who watches after you. Now let's talk about what actually happened, because understanding the mechanism is part of the healing. When you understand where the anger came from, it stops being a character flaw and starts being what it actually is, which is an inherited energetic charge that was never yours to carry permanently and was always yours to transform. Think about the men in your lineage, not as characters in your story, not through the lens of how they affected you personally, but as souls who arrived in bodies in specific historical contexts that made certain emotional expressions completely unavailable to them. Your grandfather, or his father, or the men who came before him lived in worlds where grief was weakness and weakness was dangerous, where a man who wept lost status, lost respect, lost the ability to protect what he loved. So what happened to the grief? It didn't disappear. Emotional energy doesn't disappear. It converts. Grief became silence. Helplessness became control. Humiliation became rage. And rage, because it at least resembled strength, was the one emotional channel that the masculine codes of those eras permitted. This is not a failure of those men. This is an accurate adaptation to a world that gave them almost no other option. But the energetic consequence of that conversion, that grief into rage compression, is what epigenetics researchers are now beginning to document at the biological level. The science is significant here. Studies in paternal epigenetic transmission have demonstrated that stress hormone exposure, and specifically the cortisol-testosterone dysregulation that occurs under chronic emotional suppression, leaves measurable marks on gene expression, marks that can be identified in the offspring of men who never consciously processed that suppression. The amygdala, your brain's threat detection system, inherits a calibration. It is preset for danger at levels that do not match your actual lived environment because it was calibrated for a danger that someone else lived. When the amygdala fires and the prefrontal cortex goes offline, which is what happens during what researchers call amygdala hijack, you are not in your rational mind anymore. You are in the fight response of a nervous system running ancient survival code. You are feeling what your great-grandfather felt in a moment of humiliation he was never allowed to name. Through you, that moment is finally trying to complete itself. The Arcturian Council maps this differently, but arrives at the same truth. They see the masculine ancestral strand of your 12-strand energetic DNA template as a column of compressed frequency nodes, each one representing a generational point where grief was converted to rage and then suppressed rather than discharged. Imagine a river that has been dammed at multiple points along its course. The water doesn't stop, it backs up, it builds pressure. And when the pressure finds any available outlet, it comes out with the force of everything that was held behind every dam upstream. That is what you have been experiencing, not your anger. Accumulated, undischarged, ancestral grief, moving through the only channel that your lineage coded as permissible. And here is the piece that will either land softly or land like a stone in still water. You chose this lineage before you incarnated. You reviewed this specific masculine ancestral line with your Arcturian guides, and you said yes. Not because you deserved to carry this weight, because you had the capacity, the soul development, the Arcturian frequency coding in your energetic template. to do what no one in this line has been able to do before you. To receive the charge, understand it at its root, and transmute it. Not manage it. Not suppress it differently than they suppressed it. Transmute it, converting it from a destructive discharge into what it was always meant to be before the lineage distorted it, which is sovereign directional power. Masculine anger in its original frequency is not violence, and it is not chaos. It is a precise, boundaried, protective force. It says this stops here. It says I will not allow harm. It says I know what I stand for, and I am willing to hold that line. That is the frequency underneath the distortion. That is what the Arcturian Council is restoring today. If you have ever felt the anger arrive and underneath it, very briefly, almost too fast, to catch, something that felt more like grief than rage, something that felt almost like sadness, type 111 in the comments right now. 111. The dimensional gateway code. It means you are at the threshold of understanding something that has been waiting lifetimes to be understood. Type it and come back. Your comment is not engagement. It is activation. Close your eyes if you can, or soften your gaze toward the floor. Let your hands rest open on your thighs, palms facing upward. This is the receiving position, not performance. Just an open signal to the field that you are ready to receive what is already moving toward you. Take one breath, slow, full, all the way down into the belly. Hold it briefly at the top, and release it completely. Longer on the exhale than the inhale. Do this twice more at your own pace. Now, bring your awareness to the center of your chest. Not a thought about your chest. Your actual physical awareness, the felt sense of this part of your body. There may be tightness here. There usually is, for those carrying what you carry. Don't try to fix it. Just notice it. That tightness is the compressed grief of generations pressing against the wall of the heart chakra, which is not simply the center of emotion, but the dimensional gateway between your lower energy centers and your higher ones. When this gateway is constricted, which it has been, not from your failure, but from what was loaded into it before you arrived, you cannot fully access the upper frequencies of your own consciousness. The Arcturian Council is working at this gateway right now. If you have a piece of clear quartz nearby, hold it in your dominant hand. Clear quartz is a master amplifier. It will not direct the healing. It will amplify whatever the Arcturian field is transmitting into your specific energetic signature, making the signal cleaner, the release more complete. If you don't have it physically, simply hold the intention of its frequency. The field responds to intention as readily as it responds to matter at this level of work. Now, I want you to bring into your awareness, gently, without force, the image of a man. Not a specific man yet, just the archetype, an ancestor in your masculine line. Allow whatever image arises without editing it. He may be old or young in this image. He may look like someone you know or no one you've ever met. What matters is what you can sense about him rather than see. Sense the weight he is carrying. Sense the things he was never permitted to say. The moments of fear he had to convert instantly to aggression because fear was not something his world allowed him to display. The tenderness he carried that he had no language for. The love that came out sideways because there was no direct channel for it. The Arcturian Council is moving through the masculine ancestral strand of your energetic DNA template right now, locating each of these compressed points, one by one, not erasing them, but releasing the charge around them. They are doing what these men could never do for themselves. They are witnessing the grief. They are giving it the acknowledgement it never received. And as each point releases, what returns to you is not a hole where the rage used to be. What returns is the original frequency that was always underneath it. Strength, clarity, the capacity to feel deeply without being controlled by what you feel. You may feel heat in your chest or your hands right now. You may feel a pressure in your throat. You may feel tears that seem to have no story attached to them. Let everything move. If your body wants to breathe more deeply, let it. If there is a sound that wants to come, let it be quiet or let it be audible. Whatever is moving out. And what is moving out has been waiting a very long time for this permission. The Arcturian frequency in this transmission is calibrated to 528 hertz, the frequency of DNA repair, and layered with what the Council calls the masculine liberation codes. Specific geometric light sequences based on the six-pointed star formation within the Merkaba field that interact directly with the masculine strand of your 12-strand energetic DNA template. These sequences are not healing something broken. They are restoring an architecture that was always complete, always sovereign, always powerful, but that has been running a distortion for generations. The distortion ends at the level of the template itself, not just in your behavior, in the code. Place your right hand on your heart now, your left hand on your solar plexus, the seat of personal power, located 2 inches above your navel. Feel the warmth of your palms on your body. Say inwardly or aloud if you are alone. Say this: I receive the grief my ancestors could not name. I honor it without becoming it. I release the charge without releasing the wisdom. I am the man, or I carry the lineage of the man, who breaks this pattern, not through suppression, not through performance, through understanding. I am strong enough to feel everything. I return to myself. Take another full breath, and another. Let the solar plexus soften under your left hand. This is where the Arcturian light is anchoring now, restoring the original frequency of personal power in this center, which is not dominance, not control, not the suppression of vulnerability, but the capacity to act from clarity rather than from accumulated charge. What you just participated in is not small. I want you to understand the actual scope of what happened here. When an ancestral imprint dissolves at the level of the causal body and the energetic DNA template, it does not just affect your future. It reverberates backward through the lineage. The grandfather who never wept. The great-grandfather who turned his devastation into discipline so severe it frightened the people who loved him. The unnamed men further back whose grief no one witnessed, not even themselves. They feel the completion of this circuit not through continued suffering. They are no longer in that, but through the relief of a loop finally closing. You did this for them. You are doing it because of them. And every soul who comes after you in this line begins from a different starting point because of what moved through you today. The next 72 hours matter. Your nervous system is recalibrating. The polyvagal system, the architecture that governs your movement between threat response and social safety, is learning a new baseline. This process can feel paradoxical. The anger may surface briefly in the days ahead, not because the healing isn't working, but because the movement of energy requires the old charge to complete its circuit before leaving. If you feel it, don't collapse into shame. Don't suppress it back down. Breathe into the solar plexus. Place your hand on your chest and say internally, "This is the old frequency completing. I know what this is. I am not this." Drink more water than you think you need. The physical body flushes cellular memory through hydration at a rate most people don't expect. Sleep without guilt. Sleep generously. Pay attention to what appears in your waking life, the conversations that find you, the things that move you unexpectedly, the moments of inexplicable softness. These are the signals of restored flow in a channel that was blocked. They are the original frequency returning online. You are not broken. You were never broken. You were carrying something that was never designed to be carried indefinitely by one person. You were the node in a lineage where the charge was always meant to stop and transform. Not because you were strong enough to suppress it better than everyone before you, because you were conscious enough to understand it and willing enough to do something no one before you in this line was equipped to do. That is who you are. That is not a burden anymore. That is a completed mission. Go to the comments right now and type 520, 520, the soul level love frequency, the code of karmic loop completion. When you type it, you are not reporting to an algorithm. You are declaring to the field that you received what you came here for. You are anchoring the completion into the collective consciousness of everyone who finds this transmission after you. Your declaration becomes part of the frequency they receive. Do it now. Type 520. Come back. The Arcturian Council has prepared the next layer for you, and your field is primed to receive it, while the portal from this session is still open. What you just cleared was the ancestral rage, the charge that was moving through you without your consent. But there is something the Council needs to address directly in the transmission that follows. Something you may have noticed about yourself, but never been able to reconcile. Your sensitivity and your rage have always lived in the same body. You have treated them as opposites, even as enemies. The tenderness that embarrasses you and the anger that frightens you. But the Arcturian frequency technology reveals something that will change how you see yourself completely. They are not opposites. They are the same frequency operating in different directions. And what becomes available to you, the full power of what you actually are, emerges the moment you stop treating one as the enemy of the other. That transmission is on your screen right now. Your field is calibrated for it. This is not a moment to return to the scroll, to let the density of the ordinary pull you out before the work has fully anchored. Click it and let the Council take you into the next layer, because what is waiting there is not more healing of the same wound. It is the revelation of the gift that was always living inside it, and the Arcturian Council is already